Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day of remembrance. Thank you for gathering us here today to give thanks for those who protect and serve us. As we look back, we ask your blessing that they would not be forgotten.
This is an important day in our nation's history, and I'm proud that the city of Sterling Heights is taking the time to commemorate it.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam.
It might be 18 years since the September 11th attacks, but I think we're going to continue to hold ceremonies like this every year.
We come together on this Patriot Day because 18 years ago began like every other day in the first responder's life before 9/11 and after 9/11, and the men and women showed up to work knowing that in that workday they might have to put their lives in the line for somebody else to save or to do something that might risk their lives. And so it's no surprise that at 8:46 in the morning, 18 years ago, when Flight 11 hit the World Trade Center, there was no hesitation. Within seconds, first responders were there on the scene. And 17 minutes later, when Flight 175 struck the other tower, everybody knew that they were under attack and that the first responders were on the front line of that war. And there was still no hesitation. And as I've watched years later, the documentaries that came out, and you've seen some footage, some raw footage of the people, the men and women that were in those towers, that were climbing those stairs to do what they had to do, there was no doubt in my mind that a lot of them knew that it was probably the day that they would have to make that ultimate sacrifice, and they didn't hesitate. And so on that day, not only did 3,000 Americans die, but 343 firefighters and 71 police officers gave that ultimate sacrifice.
Our world and way of life was turned upside down that day. 19 terrorists decided to do what became the biggest terrorist strike in the United States history, and strike fear into the heart of the American people and change how we lived our life. And quite the opposite happened that day. As the two towers of the World Trade Center burned and thousands of people ran for their lives down the streets of New York, hundreds of first responders ran towards the burning buildings, not thinking of their own safety, but instead they were focused on saving as many lives as possible. This is what firefighters and police officers do every single day throughout this country. Today we honor the 412 emergency workers that gave their life on September 11th and the countless that have died since September 11th because of the exposure issues. And the 2,600 Americans that died that day doing nothing more than going about their business as an accountant, a banker, a custodian, a daycare worker, a mother, father, brother, sister. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. This country is stronger, more resilient, more tolerant, and more unified in the years since September 11th. It is my sincere hope that we all remember this attack as a moment the country came together, took care of our own, showed the world why the United States is the best country in the world to call home.